But nobody wants to be the Bitcoin pizza guy and buy, a couple of books on Amazon for Bitcoin and then realize because the Bitcoin goes up too much over
Too
time.
volatile.
So
Yeah.
it's too volatile to do that
Yep.
with. So I know it seems fancy. There is a Bitcoin and ETH economy, and you can get a share of that economy, and that economy can do very well. So, we take payments in ETH or Bitcoin or whatever at Real Vision. That's fine. Some people want to do that because they've accumulated a lot of capital in those particular assets.
Bitcoin price hits $27,200, but new analysis warns more losses likely. Hello and welcome to Crypto Street. In this video, we will be discussing Raoul Pal's viewpoint on the future of Bitcoin, as well as the most recent updates and analysis of Bitcoin. So let's begin.
To understand this, I've been involved in this market since 2013 when I first saw Bitcoin. I wrote the first ever macroeconomic strategy paper and valuation for Bitcoin. So I've been all over this space. And the one thing when I wrote that first article is you need a 10-year time horizon. Everything else is done. And if you are worried about these cycles, you are trading it wrong. You're trading and not investing in the adoption of a network. So how does crypto work? Crypto is driven by two things. It's really simple. Network adoption, which is Metcalfe's law. So that's the number of active users plus basically the number of connections or applications for those users. That is what drives the long-term trend. The log trend of Bitcoin over time is the best performing asset of all recorded history, and it remains so in every single up business cycle. There is no asset that's ever performed as well. But it is cyclical, driven by the money supply and the liquidity side.
And the emotions.
And that's what brings it down 70 or 80%. So everyone goes, well, it comes down 70, 80%. You've got to remember that if I'm just looking at the Bitcoin chart now, the low in 2015 was $200. Right. Then it went all the way up to $20,000. And then it corrected down to $2,800. All the lows are massively higher and the highs are massively higher.
Yep.
So if you just step back and say, oh, I bought crypto and it fell, hold it. Your time horizon cannot be 3 years. Your time horizon needs to be long enough for the network adoption model to work. And the best way of doing that is just using a log chart and looking at it within that. And it's a very smooth uptrend.
Right.
And then what you do is you learn to use the down cycle, the liquidity cycle, to add to your investment over time, much like you would have done with Amazon, or you would have done with Google, or you would have done with Microsoft. They're very similar models.
Bitcoin's price has recently risen to $27,550 after a weekly close at approximately $26,930. Although this is an encouraging sign, it is the lowest weekly close for Bitcoin since mid-March. Popular trader and analyst Rekt Capital noted in a Twitter analysis that $27,600 is the level that needs to be flipped to support. He highlighted that Bitcoin failed to reclaim the $28,800 level on the weekly time frame, and the weekly close was below $27,600, indicating a failure to hold it as support. Rekt Capital summarized his analysis with a chart of recent weekly time frame events.
I don't think Bitcoin will be a payment system except using the Lightning layer for moving dollars around. So it's fine for that. It's fine if you're PayPal and you're in the monetary system because you give people a different product to use. But nobody wants to be the Bitcoin pizza guy and buy, a couple of books on Amazon for Bitcoin and then realize because the Bitcoin goes up too much over time.
Too volatile.
So
Yeah.
it's too volatile to do that with. So I know it seems fancy. There is a Bitcoin and ETH economy, and you can get a share of that economy. And that economy can do very well. So, we take payments in ETH or Bitcoin or whatever at Real Vision. That's fine. Some people want to do that because they've accumulated a lot of capital in those particular assets. But generally speaking, it's a bit of a red herring, I think, for that. Ethereum itself is becoming the payment system of the internet. It's very interesting because it is a base currency of which we quote things like NFTs in ETH itself. I've never seen that in my life.
As the new week starts, Bitcoin is in a critical zone as it struggles to maintain a bull trend. Despite closing the weekly candle below $27,000, BTC USD is attempting to establish support as a crucial trading zone persists. Last week, the price of Bitcoin dropped below $26,000, resulting in 2-month lows, causing traders to fear a more significant bearish breakdown. While this hasn't happened yet, traders are still nervous, both in the short and long term. Although macro triggers were relatively calm last week, there was less chance of volatility from external sources. Additionally, the upcoming difficulty adjustment is expected to push Bitcoin to another all-time high, which could be a case for upside continuation. This article from Cointelegraph explores some significant factors that may affect the price of BTC in the week ahead.
So we've got an issue now that in the vertical level, AI, as you know, was better than humans at single tasks. But now it's becoming more generalized. So it's becoming better at humans at all tasks. So, lovely story last night. I was having dinner with a friend of mine who's a radiologist, and he's actually the chairman of a hospital here in the Cayman Islands. And he had taken a new MRI for cardiology, kind of new state-of-the-art. He's like trying to figure out this machine, figure out how to use diagnostics, what he's doing, and had a particular problem with a patient. So he's like, I've spent 4 hours yesterday trying to figure this out. It's a whole new skill set for me. And I said, kind of, how much is per dollar is your hour? He's like, I don't know, we worked out, maybe it's $300 an hour. So he's like, he spent $1,200 on researching how to just give one outcome for one patient. I said, have you tried ChatGPT 4, of which it came out in, 30 seconds, the whole thing? And it's like, oh my God, this is more information than I have learned, than I know, or I could even find. Right? And that was a fraction. If I price it out, it probably costs about 1 cent versus his $1,200. I mean, that is the level of deflationary. So what we're doing here is humans have imagination, and humans put it into action, whether it's businesses or anything. And in the middle of that is lawyers, accountants, and knowledge workers. We collapse that all down. So your imagination can be a text prompt or soon to be a voice prompt, and it will create video, audio, code, anything for anybody. So it's impossible to overstate the importance of AI. It is possible to overstate where we are in the cycle. We've just gone through this ridiculous acceleration phase, and we will probably end up with a bubble, which will probably unwind. But still, like crypto, the adoption of this thing is absolute and total, and it drives what we talked about before, the Roaring Twenties and a renaissance, because it's going to unlock enormous amounts of power from people, businesses, and who knows what else.
Bitcoin network difficulty is expected to reach new all-time highs, continuing its uptrend in 2023. The difficulty is estimated to increase by about 2% this week, following a previous adjustment that resulted in a slight retracement. Despite short-lived fee market disruptions, the competition for block rewards among miners remains in an up-only trend. As a result, miner revenues have significantly increased, and this trend is expected to continue. Can we anticipate a less tumultuous and more stable week for Bitcoin and the overall cryptocurrency market? Please leave your opinion in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. We'll see you soon in our next video. Thank you for watching.